Jump block!
Hey guys, and welcome to a deck build with Chumpblock. Today I'm going to be doing a deck which was inspired by a game that I've uploaded in the series with the zombie control deck. Basically, when I was doing some gameplay footage with that deck, a card came up which absolutely annihilated it, and that game has been the inspiration for this deck. So if you haven't seen it already, have a look in the description and there should be a link to the zombie control deck in there. And this deck essentially is my perfect counter to that deck. So check it out. If we have a look at the stats down here, according to Magic Duels, this is a very strong control deck. I personally would disagree. I think it's a bit less control, it's a bit stronger, and it's slightly faster than they say. So don't pay a lot of attention to that. I don't know how the algorithm calculates what it thinks it is, but I don't think it's that. So I'll jump right in and show you what it's all about. So the deck is centered around a few big creatures, which we can have a look at here. The idea being that they usually can't be countered. So in a control deck, if you put down these creatures, you're going to have a real hard time trying to get rid of them. So starting off, we have Gear's Revenge. On top of it having haste, which is awesome, Gear's Revenge can't be the target of non-green spells or abilities from non-green sources, which is sick. It can't be counted, it has haste, and it has protection from all spells that aren't green. So this is a great card to just put down, catch your enemies unaware, and suddenly you're doing 8 damage to them. The things that can kill this are when you're not targeting a specific creature. So for example, I guess something along the lines of Languish, where all creatures get whatever, that would be able to destroy this, or if you cast a couple of them. But anything that's non-specific, like says destroy all target creatures, spells where you don't have to select this card in order for them to work, any of those cards are going to destroy this. Similarly, we've got Plated Crusher, which is another really big, powerful creature. Doesn't have haste, but it does have trample and it's hexproof. So rather than all spells except one colour not being able to affect this card, hexproof basically means that all targeted spells can't affect this creature. But again, something like Languish, where it's generic, will actually affect it. So again, target all creatures is going to destroy this card. Next up, we've got Birthing Hulk. This takes a slightly different tact in that it uses Regenerate to keep alive. And the way Regenerate works is that when you use 1 mana plus a colourless mana, and you tap those, then when this is destroyed it will just come back. So for example, if you used Murder against this particular card, as soon as Murder had taken effect, the card essentially just comes straight back. Things that will kill this, even if you use Regenerate, is a card that says target creature gets something like -4/-4, and in that instance, even if you do use Regenerate, it is going to kill it. So that's a weakness of it. Finally, I've got Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, which is a legendary Eldrazi creature. When you cast Ulamog, you exile 2 permanents. It's also indestructible, which is again an anti-control because your instants and sorceries that target the creature, like destroy creature, creature gets -4/-4, etc. I'm going to have a real hard time getting rid of that. And also when Ulamog attacks, defending players exiles the top 20 cards of his or her library. So this is a really strong end game card. Interestingly about indestructible though, you can get rid of creatures that are indestructible if you ask them to be sacrificed. So some of those white spells where it's like target player sacrifices attacking creature, or where it's returned to their owner's hand or library or exiled, those are going to get rid of indestructible. So that's its weakness. But I mean, combined with all the different ways, so having Regenerate, having hexproof, having indestructible, there's a lot you have to deal with. You have to have a stupid amount of different cards in your deck to be able to deal with these creatures, and the idea is that you're going to have one for every situation. And then going back down the order, we've got a few sort of cheaper creatures at this end to basically provide blockers and in some cases mana. So Deathcap Cultivator and Primal Druid do mana. When Primal Druid dies, you can pick any colour mana, and this one, when you tap it, you can do a black or a green mana. Jolly Offshoot is a nice blocker. It's a 0/3 for 1, and it also has the added benefit that when you put down a land, that it's going to give you life, especially useful when you're ramping land. So that's a nice little blocker to put in there. And Gnarlwood Dryad is another great creature for 1 mana because it has Death Touch. So it's going to put off most opponents from attacking with larger creatures because, you know, if it manages to get the damage onto the creature, it's going to kill it. Finally, I suppose that Deathcap Cultivator also has Death Touch as long as there are 4 more types of card in your graveyard. There's a couple more creatures, or 1 more should I say, which comes in the form of Hanweir Garrison. This is an awesome card. Unfortunately, because it's so awesome, it tends to get killed off quite quickly. Because it's only got the 3 defense, so it's easy to kill off with like a decent destroy creature or red burn spell. But when it attacks, you put down 2 red human creature tokens onto the battlefield, and if you've got the appropriate land with it, which is Hanweir Battlements, you can pay 2 red and 3 mana and meld them, and it transforms into Hanweir the Writhing Township. And this basically has trample, it has haste, it's got 7 damage, low defense, but you don't really care about the defense because when you attack, you straight away put down 2 3/2 colorless Eldrazi horror creatures, which is awesome. So that card very quickly can build up an army if it's unchecked of pretty nasty creatures. And then going back, we can start looking at the spells. Well, they're all spells, and I keep saying that, but anyway. Going back, we can start looking at the instants and sorceries. Every red deck needs all 4 Twin Bolts. It's a really versatile card, and like all of the damage dealing instants and sorceries that I've got in the deck, you can use it to target creatures and or players. And so what that means is that you can use it to target your opponent, you can use it to target planeswalkers, and you can also target creatures. And for 2 mana, it's simple, 2 damage, but you get to divide the damage as you see fit, so you could take out 2 1/1s or a single 2/2 or something like that. Really versatile, very cheap, great card. Next I've got sort of a slightly bigger version of that, Rolling Thunder, where you cast 2 red mana, and any additional mana you cast after that you can use as a single damage. And then, so say you tap 10 mana, that will give you 8 damage to deal as you choose. So you can deal, kill off 8 1/1s or deal 8 damage to a single target creature, and that can be creatures, planeswalkers, or players. Really useful card. Often use it as endgame if I've got one of those set back and a decent pile of mana on the table. I'll attack with some of my creatures, bring him down to 6-7 life, and then you can use this to just finish them off after that because they're not expecting it. Then we get into the ramp sorceries. So we've got Nissa's Pilgrimage, which is find 2 forest cards. One of them goes onto the battlefield and one of them goes into your hand. We've got Explosive Vegetation, again 2 land cards of any colour, but they both go into the battlefield. And finally, in terms of sorcery, we've got Devil's Playground. I think this is really underrated, and I haven't seen it played a huge amount. But it's fantastic in that you put down 4 red devil token creatures, which straight away is a headache because there's lots of tokens. Trying to get your army to attack and get through those is going to be difficult, and you have the added bonus of when they die it deals 1 damage to target creature or player, so again it'll deal damage to planeswalkers, your opponent, and creatures. So it's really interesting to have this, and then something like, I don't know, some big creature will come along and I'll defend with all of them, and then with the extra damage I'll pass that over to a planeswalker or something like that and just take planeswalker out. Your opponent's just not expecting it. I don't think a lot of them realise that these can then add 1 damage to wherever you like. So great card, highly recommended. And then going back through, we've got a couple of planeswalkers. Nissa's Vastwood Seer. Again, when you put it down, you just get a forest card to bring in your hand and play. You need 7 lands on the battlefield, but you have to cast a land in order for this to transform. So it might be that you've got 7 lands, but if you don't put a land down once Nissa Vastwood Seer is there, she won't transform. So you can have 6 lands, play this, put down your 7th land, and it will transform into the Sage Animist. It's pretty good in terms of abilities. So +1 is a pull cards from your library. If it's a land, it will go straight into the battlefield, and if it's something else, it just go into your hand. -2 is put a legendary 4/4 green elemental creature token down. That's always useful if you're under a bit of pressure and you need a big, decent sized creature quick. So that's a great card. And then finally the ultimate, which is a real end game, is untap up to 6 target lands. They each become 6/6 elemental creatures. This is awesome. I've used it once or twice, and it's never failed to end the game there and then. So if you manage to ultimate this, expect to win. The other Planewalker I've got is Arlinn Kord. It's a pretty decent Planewalker. I like it. The reason I put this one in is so that I don't have 2 Nissas. I would normally just put in another Nissa, but I like these cheap Planeswalkers that come out quite early and you can start doing extra things. It's a distraction for the opponent, and they'll often attack this when really they, in my opinion, you should be attacking the player to try and win the game, because you can kill as many Planeswalkers as you want. It's not going to win you the game. But here it's got some good abilities. A +1 here is that a target creature gets +2/+2 and gets vigilance and haste. That's fantastic for some of those bigger creatures if you want it to attack and then still be able to defend at the end of the turn. I tend to use this ability the most. The other ability lets you transform Arlinn Kord, and it puts down a 2/2 green wolf, and when it transforms it turns into Arlinn Embraced by the Moon. The +1 ability on this is that all the creatures in your battlefield get +1/+1 and gain trample. That's a nice ability to use if you've got quite a few creatures out and you're just looking to get those last few damage into the opponent to win the game. The -1 is that you can deal 3 damage to a target creature or player, and then it transforms back into Arlinn Kord. It's a nice ability and you might use it just to get the final damage onto your opponent, but again, you can cast it onto a creature, a planeswalker, or a player. And then the ultimate, which I've never actually used, you get an emblem with creatures you control have haste, and if you tap them you can deal damage equal to its power to a target creature or player, so again planeswalkers are included in that. But as I said, the ability I tend to use the most is this one because I really like the vigilance ability on some of those big creatures that I'm putting down. And then we're getting on to the lands, which is quite nice, simple. I've got an equal amount of mountains and forests in there. I've got, obviously I spoke about it earlier, Hanwir Battlements, which is a melding card for Hanwir Garrison. We've also got Foundry of the Consulus, which is a sacrifice and put 2 1/1 colourless Thopter artifact creature tokens onto the battlefield. This is really useful if you've got sort of armies facing off against each other and there's no one really going anywhere. You quickly sacrifice this and you get the 2 colourless Thopters to fly over the top of the opponent's army. And then Evolving Wilds just to get out that coloured mana that I don't have and I'm desperate for. So overall pretty simple. The idea being that you're ramping as fast as you can and basically you're putting down the one of these creatures ASAP. Your opponent's usually going to be caught on the back foot as soon as these guys are down, and it's also got a lot of support in here in terms of spells and defense to back up those big attacking creatures. So thanks for watching. I'm going to do a couple of gameplays with this deck so you can see how to use it and get an idea of what I'm doing with it. They should be linked below, so check those out as well. And obviously leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you guys. Give it a like, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Bye.